Hello there and welcome to another MTCNA tutorial by MikroTik Canada. This is episode 42 and in this session we will first review the firewall configurations for protecting the main router and then see what these settings look like when we want to protect client devices and the network beyond our edge router. Previously, we created two firewall filters to accept new, established, and related connections from a specific in interface to identify the local network of our device, and then use another pair of firewall filters to stop both invalid and all other types of traffic coming from the WAN. To do so, we first created an input rule with the in interface of WLAN1 to class specifically for new connections with the accept action to designate the LAN. Secondly, we created an input rule for established and possible related connections with the accept action. Third, we made another input rule for invalid connections with the drop action. And finally, we created a fourth input rule with the drop action and no other variables to stop all other types of traffic from the WAN. Next, to make absolutely sure these four rules take effect, we referred to the connections table and removed all existing connections to make sure nothing slips through the net. As a side note, for more convenience, comments can be added to these firewall settings. You can do so either by opening the filters and using the comment button, or use the small button in the main firewall window. Placing comments allows for easier identification of settings in the long run. Moreover, by activating the inline comments option in the Winbox settings, comments will be shown in the same row as the filters in order to save some space. Also, by selecting the Show Columns option from the drop-down menu here, you can toggle on the log column so that you can easily see which filter is logging traffic activities. So, thus far, we have protected our main router. Now, we'll see what we need to do to protect network devices beyond the router. From the viewpoint of the class AP, if packets were being directed toward the network beyond, including the trainee router and trainee PC, we would be dealing with forwarded traffic. Therefore, conveniently, our settings are exactly the same as input traffic, with the main difference that we need to create these firewall filters for forwarded traffic. As a result, we will first create a filter with the forward chain for the interface facing the class AP's local network, that is WLAN1 class, and limit this rule to new connections with the accept action. Next, we will create another forward rule for the established and related connections with the accept action. Up to here, we have designated our trusted network and traffic. The third step is to create a forward filter for invalid connections and the drop action to stop the flow of any possible invalid packets. And finally, another forward rule only with the drop action will be used to halt all other types of traffic passing through the class AP. Here as well, you can add the same comments for easy identification. The exact same settings can be added on the trainee router as well. The only exception is that on the class AP, the in interfaces of the two rules for new connections is WLAN1 to class, whereas on the trainee router, they will change to Ethernet 1 to PC. An important point to remember is that, as you can see, we have put all four input rules before those with the forward chain. The reason is that 1, as a rule, you should always try to secure your main device first before trying to protect the network beyond. And 2, input traffic usually has less variables compared to forwarded traffic, so it is better and more efficient to deal with them first. Now, to test these rules, let's have a closer look at the log records on the trainee router. We will first open up the log window and then enable the log option on the firewall filter specific to new connections in the forward chain. As you can see, all new forwarded traffic is coming into the trainee router via the Ethernet 1 to PC in interface and exiting the device from the WLAN1 to class AP out interface. Their connection state is new and they are being directed from the trainee PC with the IP address of 168.1.100 to various IP addresses in the wide area network. As another example, we will turn off the log on rule number 4 and instead inspect the log records of related connections. Since established and related connections were included together in rule number 5, we will make a copy of this rule, remove the related connections from number 5 while removing established connections from the new copied rule, which will take the place of number 6. Then, as always, from the Actions tab, we will check the log option with a suitable log prefix. As discussed in previous sessions, we will transfer a file through FTP as an example of related connections. Our source will be the trainee PC and the destination address is 10.0.0.254 on the class AP. To do so, we will go to FileZilla, put in the destination address of the class AP with our credentials, and log on. Immediately, a single log record for related connections will be shown passing through the trainee router from the same in and out interfaces. The connection state is related since FileZilla is fetching the list of existing files and it is from 192.168.1.100 toward 10.0.0.254. Moreover, as discussed in previous sessions, the related connection shows a randomly generated destination port instead of the default FTP port of 21. And similarly, if we try to transfer a file to the class AP via a simple drag and drop, other related connections will be spawned with all the same information but other newly and randomly generated destination ports. Just remember, for the sake of efficiency and saving the resources of your hardware, make sure you merge back the two forward rules for established and related connections. To do so, open rule number 5, check the related connections in the connection state row, and once the changes are applied, remove rule number 6, which was only specific to related connections. Well, there you have it. By placing all these firewall configurations, you can easily and basically protect your device, as well as the network and client hardware that lie behind it. Stay tuned, since we'll be talking about some useful tips regarding firewall in RouterOS. As always, give us your questions in the comment section and give us a thumbs up if you feel like it.